Make It Now with Linda Lang. These are some earrings that I want to make today, and I have these really cute cards that I make too, by the way. Anyway, the earring is with this hard felt, and then I have a backing on it as well, and then I trim it with beads, and it's made with sequins and beads, and it's so cute. So I'm going to show you how to make these. A lot of fun. I already started working on my next pair, which is, this is the body of it. Isn't that pretty? So it depends on how you cut it out when we get done as what goes to the top, because I think since this is kind of a bigger, I'm going to put this at the top, or it can go at the bottom, because if you want to hang something down, and you want to make sure that the second one is really close to the size of the first one. So it's always good to make sure that that's what you do. But we're gonna play around. Okay, so the first thing you need to do then is get the hard felt, and it's like a hard felt. You can buy it at Michael's. It's just hard. Don't use regular felt. You can actually harden regular felt by using Elmer's glue and letting it dry, but I buy it. You can buy sheets of it. And then I have this little pattern. There's 6 holes. And then I have a little, I'm going to put a little dot in the middle too, you know, just to have it in the middle. But I don't do anything with it. I actually put that dot on my felt. This is what I did. So I put it here. I used a pen and I just dotted these in. And then I just took another pen and I just put a little dot in the middle so that I can just know where to put my needle. You want to cut out a piece of square. You don't want to, you know, have it too small close to these edges. You might want to cut the corners because your thread could get caught on the corners when you're trying to sew. All right, so the first thing you do is you get your sequins. Now, I have different styles of sequins. I have I have the little sequins here, and I have the big sequins. You can use any size you want. Now, because I used little on this, I actually filled in areas with more sequins. This one that I'm making is big, so I don't need to fill anything in these little spots. It's already pretty filled. And so that's what I'm going to make this time. I'm going to use the bigger sequins. And so let's see how we do this. This is so much fun. It doesn't take long. Just getting it on here is the hardest part. And so all you do is you take your needle and put it up one of those holes on the outside. First, of course, you got to make sure you knotted your thread, which I need to do. I didn't do it. So I just kind of do it by hand like that. And like this. I do it a couple times. See here. Put it on top of each other. And I do it 3 times on top of each other. And then I cut off the excess of that. So there's my thingy. All right, so now when I pull it through, of course, now it stops. So it stops there, and the knot's on the inside. Don't worry about this side. You're going to cover it anyway. You can put as many strings as you want on that back side. It doesn't matter. So now what you do is you take one of your sequins, and you have a couple of sides. The way that the sequence is kind of curved. So you want to put the curved side down first, okay? You put the curved side down. Then you pick up, and I use seed beads. You can use any size seed beads you want. And I'm going to use the gold ones that I started with. And so let me see, where are those seeds at? There they are. Okay. I'm going to put them in the camera there. And then I pick up 2 seed beads and a sequence. Then the sequence this time goes up. You'll know what I mean when you look at your sequence. And then you pick up 2 more seed beads. and another sequence. And you go up with it. So now you have something like this. This one's facing down. This one has 2 seed beads, and this is facing up, 2 seed beads facing up. That's how you start it. Then I only do 5 or 6, depending on how you want to do it. Now I did 6 seed beads to the center from that sequence to the center. You can do 5. You can do it flatter. I like a little bit of a bulge, like a little, let's see how it kind of lifts a little bit. I like that effect. So I'm going to do 6 seed beads. Let's see where my beads at. There they are. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, I have 6 seed beads on that. And then I just take the needle and put it right through the center, that center hole, or the center spot. There's no hole there. So now what you've done is you did one little stem so far. And you simply go and repeat the process. Go to the next hole, get a sequence. Let's get the camera in going here. Just make sure the camera is in the thing. Okay. You grab another sequence. You make sure that you put it in it so that the curve goes down, like we did the first time. Pick up 2 seed beads and a sequence that goes up. Two seed beads, sequence that goes up, and then 6 of these seed beads. 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, there we go. We're on a roll. And then we just take our needle and put it in the center, just like where that other one is, just right next to it. Okay, just right next to it. Right down in the middle and pull. Look how pretty that's looking already. Okay, and then you just repeat it all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and speed that up as I go. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do the next hole and speed it up. Okay, now I'm on the last rung, and then I poke that into the middle as well. So now I have this. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so then you turn it over and slip it through the back a couple times and then tie a knot. Put a knot through here. Make a loop, do a couple slip knots like that so that it's in there good. Okay, so that's what I do. And then I just cut it off. So now I have this one and this one. So now what you do is you want to cut the shape. And of course, you want to cut it as close to this shape as possible. There's probably an easier way to do it, but I just cut it. If you notice on this set, this is like little bit longer. This is a little fatter, but you wouldn't know, when you wear them on your ears, okay? So, and of course, handmade things are not perfect. So I'm just gonna cut around like a flower. Not real close to the sequence, because I like a little bit of the flower on the outside of it, because I'm going to beat it. Okay. So let's see how close it is to this one. Look, pretty close. So I'll be able to hang it this way. I can hang it this way. The next thing you do is you want to find a nice little backing. Now I use this faux leather and I put it here, so it's going to go like this on the back. It's kind of pretty, right? So then I'm going to put a little bit of E6000, and I'm going to glue it directly onto this piece. So I just take a little bit of this E6000 and I just dop it in the middle, because you're going to sew it together. You don't need much, and it stinks. I just stick it down there. And then it's holding it, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut the shape of the flower around it. Make sure you do it exact, as close to exact as possible. You might even use smaller scissors to do this part. And you can go back and trim wherever you didn't do it really well. Okay, there's that. You'll notice that I have a little bit of edge here, so I'm just going to trim this one off a little bit. There. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to trim this a little bit off. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, because we're going to beat it and you won't even see this edge. I'll show you what I mean. It's so cool. I've given you other beading projects that I've done before. It's the same beading project idea. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to trim these two. And I like to use the same beads that I've used in the center, so I'm going to put these beads here. I'm going to start at the top, because we're going to add some little ring thingies that go here so that you can hang your earrings. Okay, we have this little, I don't know what they're called. They're wire protectors, or they're string protectors for earrings. Okay, so then what you do is you take your needle, and you've got a little space between the two, right? So then you put the needle into the back so that the knot goes on the inside. You can't even see it. And you want to start at the back. You want your thread to stick out at the back. Okay, I don't know how far. I'm a little bit far down. If you'll notice, I'm down here a little bit. That's okay. You want to not be too close. Don't go too close to the edge. You want to come in just a little bit. You pick up one bead. It's going to be a one bead wonder. You pick up one bead and you go back through both. Go through both layers. Keep your other finger behind it so that it brings the bead to the top. You see how it's up to the top? And then you go back through the bead the way the thread went in. You go back up through the bead. Now let me do that again. You grab another bead. Now the string is coming out of that bead. Okay, it's coming out of that bead. So now you pick up another bead, you go to the back, make sure you get both pieces of the material and you pull it together. And you go back up the bead. Oopsie, I dropped my needle. Okay, I go back up the bead. Oh my goodness, my hands are slippery. And then you've got two. So what we're gonna do, like we do here, we're gonna trim all the way around like we did on these. So I'm gonna trim all the way around, and you wanna use a thread that matches, of course, the backing as best as you can. Pick up another bead, go to the back, go to the front, let the finger in my back finger hold it in place, and go back up the bead. Okay, and see what's happening is that your bead is now, the holes are on the outside. You can do it the other way where the holes are on the inside, but I like them here because I might want to add some dangles. See, if I don't have the beads down, I won't be able to hang some things down here, okay? So, and I like it, it looks better that way too. So then you pick up another bead, go to the back to the front, pull it through with my other finger in behind, and then go back up the bead. You go all the way around the project. That other finger behind there. Go back up the bead. And you just keep going. Okay, so now you have your thread at the top, and you take this little horseshoe thingy and you poke it in the side, and you kind of make it so that it sits there on your finger, and then you come down the other side of it and go into the next bead. So you go up one bead and you bring it down to the next bead, and you make sure that this thread gets connected to the top of that little loop on top, okay? All right, so now I'm gonna do it again. I like to do it twice. And then I come back down. Into that bead. Hold my finger behind it, and so that it goes right onto that loop. And then I tie it off. I just go back to the back and I turn it around. Look how pretty that is on the back. Let me see where my camera is. There it is. Okay. And then I'm just going to do a little slip in the material, a couple of loop-de-loops in there to tighten it off, and then I just poke it back through somewhere, let it come out to wherever, and wherever it comes out, I'm going to cut it all the way to the edge. Like that. Okay, so now I have these two earrings. Okay, so I have my thread on my needle, and I make sure I have one longer than the other, and I tie a knot at the bottom of the long one. And you do it right on top of each other. See, these are done. You can actually leave them like this if you want, but I want to add a fringe to the bottom. Okay, so now I want to make sure that I have my dangle from this to here. So I want to make sure I put my thread in this area. So I'm going to hide it underneath that first sequence and then just push the needle through the bead, one of the beads at the bottom. Okay? That's why I like the beads to stick down, because then I can thread the needle outside a bead. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a loop like this one. But this has a cute little bead at the bottom of it too. So I need to find a nice bead to use at the bottom. Let's see what I have here. I have my thread coming out of the bottom, and I'm just going to put 6 of these seed beads on it. 3, 4, 5, 6. I like 6. I don't know why. And then I'm going to put this through here like that. I'll do 6 more beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to go back up through the bead next to it. Okay, so that, see how that looks like that? Isn't that cute? Ooh, you can make longer beads. I think I did like, oh, I don't know how many, maybe 10 on this one, but I only did 6. I like that. Okay, and then you just simply turn it over and loop it again, you know, make a knot. You go through the material and then you go through the loop a couple of times to make a knot. And then I just take the needle and then just kind of weave it into the body a little bit so that I can just cut the thread. So then I just cut it there. Okay, and there's this one. It doesn't quite hang like this because I kind of have it a little less with beads, but I like the way that looks. Okay, and now I'll do the same for this one. Look how cute. All right, and all you do next is you add your findings to it. Okay, so I have these 2 here, and I found me some copper findings because it actually matches very well. Okay, you can use gold if you want, but I don't have any gold. So I'm just going to use my copper. And when you open them up, you don't pull it, you twist. Just twist it out. Put the earring on it, like that, and twist it back. Look. Let's do the other one. Like that. That is done. Okay, so I like to make nice packaging on my gifts. So I'm going to be having these as Christmas presents. So I found some Christmas cards. This is like an old postcard, I think. And I cut it a square and I made it the size of my packaging. Like that. And then I have one of these. You have to invest in one of these. They're so cool. It makes this little punch out for your earrings to hang on. So all I do is I put them in here. Like that. And then I slip these in here. Like this. Isn't that cute? Look at how nice that is. Make it nice and even, and then turn it over, and then I just peel this off and flip it down. So there is a nice gift for somebody. Yeah, these are 5 by 3. These are 5 by 3. You can get on Amazon, these little packages. 5 by 3. So now I have those 2. Ooh, I'm gonna have to make me a pair to keep. These I've given them all away. Anyway, this is Make It Now with Linda Lang. I hope you enjoyed. today's program. See you next time.